Now, out of curiosity, I've heard from a few different people their theory on what caliche is and where it came from. What do you know about it?
So caliche is, a lot of people call their clay caliche, but a true caliche is even more compact, ancient clay that's been compacted, has a lot more calcium in it, and it gets so compact and it's so hard. It's about as hard as a rock, but you can tell even by looking at it, it's got some layering to it. It's a very compressed clay, again with a lot of calcium kind of deposits that are in it, which makes it even more hard and kind of chips. It chips. Even when you get it wet, it's not going to all get slimy. Just the top coat's going to get a little slimy. It doesn't penetrate. Water does not penetrate well through caliche at all. It just kind of shaves off, goes to the sides, and very hard to grow a tree in caliche.
And it's a very white.
Yeah, it's got a whiter color to it, especially as you start digging into it. You know, it scars more than it chips. You know, it'll scar. You know, you get a pickaxe on it, and it'll be a white scar because it's that hard.
And like you said, you put soil or you put water on it, and only the very top, and that's why it's so hard to grow anything if you've got that under your soil because you're watering. It hits that caliche, and it's not watering deep like we like to do, and it's just leaching it out to the sides.
Yeah, it's going sideways.
It makes water go horizontal.
Yeah, it's the stuff that makes flash floods possible. You know, it hits that layer. The water can't go anywhere except laterally. It doesn't go dirt down into the soil anymore, and so water just builds up on top, and it just travels. And oddly enough, as soon as it gets a little wet, it's less permeable to water because it'll actually compact, or it'll kind of seal up because it swells a little because it's been so hard, compact, and dry. It'll actually swell a little, which even seals it even more from letting water through. So not your favorite.
And it's something that's pretty territorial to the Southwest. I mean, it's not something you run into outside of the desert.
Yeah, you don't find it too many other places. But when you find it, it's rough, and it's usually it's in veins. It's not like it's going to be fully widespread. Usually you've got some veins. There'll be cracks in it. So it's not a hopeless situation for you if you find it. The thickness of it varies, but usually we don't find veins here in the valley that are more than about 4 feet in the vein. We have found some that are 12 feet, but majority it's going to be a little vein, which means you can dig through it or even drill through it. Make sure that that your hole for where you're going to be planting that fruit tree, it can drain through. That's an important piece of the puzzle for a healthy Arizona fruit tree, or any type of tree for really that matter, to make sure that they can be successful here in the desert. They got to be able to drain through and deep root because, you know, we get some crazy winds now and then, right? And if it's all shallow, just sitting above this caliche layer, and you've got shallow roots, those things will just tip right over in a big enough windstorm, even if they've been here for 30 years. And they've grown big. If they didn't get the right gust of wind, and then all of a sudden they get hit with it, that whole tree's going to tear up. And you don't want that. You want it to grow deep, get nice deep roots, got to drain through.
And when you run into that, do you try and pull that whole area out? Or if you're going to, like, this is the perfect spot for my fruit tree, I've got caliche under it, do you find a new perfect spot or do you just dig it out?
Well, first thing we'll do is we'll look at the size of the fruit tree we're trying to plant. And we're going to try to go 3 times as wide as the diameter of that tree. So if we know we're hitting some hard stuff, we need to go at least 3 times as wide as the pot. So if I got a 15-gallon pot, it's about 24 inches wide. I'm basically digging a 6-foot wide hole. Big round 6-foot hole. So I give it a lot of width in order for it to grow some of those roots. Now, in that process, I'm going to hopefully find some pockets where I can get through that caliche. And the other thing I need to make sure I'm doing is I'm drilling through. So a good 4-inch hole, and we've used auger type bits, and we can drill through that at the base of that hole. We don't want to go any deeper than the tree, especially where the tree is going to be sitting on it. We don't want to go deeper than the pot because we need to give it a stable foundation. But then around that, you almost imagine if I put a donut in the hole and it went around the center, and the middle part is kind of almost like a little pedestal in the center where the tree can sit, initial set. That's a good thing for fruit trees. And then the roots can grow out and about, and we dig a little deeper and create our drainage around that center part. So we want a good core, something it can sit on and stay stable so it's not going to sink, because a sunken fruit tree is going to die, within six months to 2 years.